wanted to jump on and talk astrology. We've been doing so heavily on members, but every so often the transits feel really sort of intense. It's almost like a contraction, and it's like, okay, we gotta talk about those. Otherwise, it's just gonna, it can get pretty confusing at times when we're not aware of the transits, I found, and it's always helpful to sort of reflect on what is going on astrologically. So if we are to look at it and just break it down as of today, which is technically July 31st, right? Yes, Saturday, eh? Interesting. Okay. Pisces problems. We don't do the time thing. No, literally we don't. It's not a joke, guys. It's not a cliche. It is true. We don't. Yeah, but we are experiencing quite a transit streak here. We've got, first and foremost, let's bring the elephant out of the room, shall we? Jupiter in Aquarius at 29 degrees. Yeah, this is big. This is karma. A lot of it coming up for review. Specifically, let's preface it in this way. We've got a lot of fucking planets retrograde right now, so we're talking generational planets as well, which is not so personal as, let's say, when, Mercury goes retro and it's like, all right, what's going on? What have I not been sort of tending to? What is it that is on the back burner in my personal relationships? Mercury being that communicative energy sign planetarily, but it's really about like everyone in the collective. We're looking at Pluto retro. I think Saturn is as well. We've got a lot of planets. Let me pull up the ephemeris. But in the meantime, and we've got now Jupiter here retro. Now, here's the thing. It's been retro, but it's like now it's like really, really in the thick of it. Given that it's just went into Aquarius, it transited through Pisces, and we were only at like 2 degrees of Pisces with Jupiter. This is also significant. We mentioned this in some previous lives. Jupiter naturally rules Pisces, so, and Sag, but yeah, it's intense. And it is important. It's not just like, oh, it's like retro season, let me close my eyes, like wake me up when it's over. Like, this is all, we are feeling energies. We don't have to necessarily make a decision on what is coming up at this time. In fact, we talked about this in members. It's best to, we talked about this actually in the 48-hour roundup video that we did coming up here. It's not necessarily an amazing time to judge what's coming up and feel like we have to take on last minute decisions and actions on, but to say it in this way, let's go back to, we were mentioning Jupiter in retro, right, in Aquarius now, so it literally dipped into Pisces, real strong placement for Jupiter, right? And it's a relatively slower moving planet, Jupiter. It's right in between being technically generational and personal, so making the rounds back, moving back slowly into Aquarius again. We're reviewing what has already been. Also realized, interesting. So yeah, it's a time for review. Try not to get like too cooked about what's coming up. Not only because of Jupiter entering Aquarius, but also because it's simultaneous to clearing of Mars in, it was Leo, and then moving into Virgo. So whenever we see planetary shifts and Mars lingers for a few days in the zenith degree and the later stages, so these are kind of big waves, and we were talking about this, I think in a recent live, I think it was the one we did outdoors or something, but Yeah, don't be surprised if you're feeling intense right now, especially because Mars rules your actual energy levels, your physical body. You want to keep things, in the higher spectrum of Mars so you're not getting like fucking frustrated and like, especially for those who have a lot of Mercury in your chart as well, like can't make a decision, like putting pressure on myself to like make a decision. Like, you don't want to be like in that vibe, okay? Yeah, it's like, yeah, just like that. Yeah, do we really need to be like still like stepping on the gas like that, like as a last resort to make us feel like, the alleviation of pressure, especially with Mercury? Like, this is like a little annoying, like, no offense, love and light, but Mars in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, let's be honest, like, Mars doesn't want to be really thinking about what it wants and feels, what it wants to do, what it feels compelled to carry out. When it's in Virgo, it's like, all right, we got to think about this, like, okay. And at 0 degrees, it's like, we're not used to this. It was like Mars is still kind of like groggy, waking up from that long ass journey in Leo. So, this is a time where we're resituating. It's like, we're resituating. It's kind of like, for example, okay, taking a flight, like, we don't just like start walking around while the plane is like ascending, right? I mean, imagine if they were trying to serve drinks down the aisle on the airplane, like while the plane was still taking off and adjusting to the elevation. That would make no sense, right? We need time to adjust. So it's like, why don't we just like sit tight? We don't need to be freaking out about what's coming up at this time necessarily, but always, make the decision as you feel it. Even if it's not Mercury retrograde, it's still a heavy, let's say it like this, it doesn't have to be Mercury retrograde for it to be a retrograde season, and it is definitely a season. Let's clear it around. Yeah, I see it as like waves, really big waves, and generational planets. We may tend to think, oh, it's a generational planet, it's not really a personal planet, like, I can close my eyes. These are, if anything, they're bigger waves, they're more seismic, and they involve the collective. So, if you think, well, I'll be fine, like, I'll be on my merry way, it's like, but then you start getting caught up and it's like stuff's happening in your environment and you just feel the stagnation, okay? That's where we say, well, we're operating the collective, and let's look at what it is that we see also ourselves creating in a collective space. So we're really possibly slowing down a bit. It might feel like that, like, oh man, like we're slowing down, like why do we have to look at this stuff? But it's helpful ultimately. Every planetary archetype, it's like the planets are not random, and everything is, the archetype of every energy is relevant. So Uranus speaks of society. It speaks of progression. There's a big question here for all of us of, how do I feel I fit in society? Society is absolutely changing. It's unraveling. It's resituating itself in a certain way. We're all sort of reacquainting ourselves with this notion, this concept of community. I would say I see possibly in that way. And if you're feeling at that point where you're like, oh my God, like what's my identity? Like who am I in the sense of a communal sort of, in a community, in a communal sort of sense, yet again, like we're not really at a point to maybe answer that for ourselves. Like, okay, how do we say this? You can do that. I mean, you can say, well, all right, I'm going to choose this community, or I'm going to choose this particular, concept, and connect with these types of people. But, there's maybe more to it. Okay. Like there's more to it. It's not just like, well, this makes sense. I'm into these kinds of hobbies and like crafts and, but, we don't, again, like, how do we say this? We're not obligated to decide as well where we sit in terms of community. And I personally, like, I don't know what this is obviously for everyone, but in a general sense, like, I wouldn't necessarily be making last minute decisions that you feel just like, gotta do something. So I'm just gonna do something. Like, maybe take time, meditate on what's coming up at this time. Really think, do I resonate with this even program? Like if you're choosing a program, if you're choosing something here that is gonna really affect the way that you associate with certain communities, especially in the long term, I wouldn't just be like, well, fuck it. Like, I kind of feel this way, I guess. It's like that, and I feel like that is not really the intention even of the retrograde. Retrogrades come forth to make you more aware of the many sort of factors that either feel resonant or don't. And so that's why sometimes it can be troubling if we're challenging what those factors are that are coming up. And some of them are, hey, confirmation, you really resonate with this, and it's bringing concepts up from the past. So, but then sometimes it can bring up concepts where it's like, well, have you been like basically involved in something you don't resonate with? And that's where the retrogrades at first can feel kind of jolting or uncomfortable or dissonant as an experience. So let's pull up the ephemeris though. Let's clear the energy and ground. Yeah, but the most notable thing, how many of you actually have, and we have members only comments on due to bullying and gaslighting and these types of things. Just a side note for those who are like, why are the comments gone? Yeah, but thank you for your support as well, those who join members and support the channel that way as well. And it's so lovely to be able to chat still in the comments. But feel free to comment if you are somebody who has a lot of Virgo in your chart here, and I actually see this as something of a peer pressure coming forward with Virgo and Mars and Venus and Mars. You know, it comes down to, well, Mars ego, me, how I see myself, what I feel, what I want. Virgo is all about service. It's about, and specifically professionally, our social sphere. How do we feel at peace in our environment but still acknowledging our personal needs? So boundaries at this time, maybe coming up as a concept, as a theme. How is it challenging, you know, to have boundaries? Have I not had boundaries in even, let's say, a professional space? Okay, sacrificing my needs in terms of boundaries because I felt like it would help me be more successful or it would help tend to the needs of others. So this is kind of similar to the theme of Pisces, Neptune, even like scapegoat energy, the 12th house, you know, the illusion that we need to help others and not ourselves to be helpful. This is totally not, I find not true. Okay, that's the illusion of Pisces, is that we do not exist and they exist, we have to take care of them. That is not the case. When we do what's right for us, that's when we're grounded. That's when others can also, you know, actually be helped with the energy field that we do hold first for ourselves. So yeah, it's the illusion of like, I will starve and I'll give them my food. Like, what is that? No, you guys, like, but okay, this is a general video, right? Always take it as you will. But in a general way, okay? You put your own life mask on first. So oxygen mask. So yeah, I mean, and if someone's like making you feel bad or weird about that, I think it's really time to just kind of get very awkward. If you feel like you need to, you know, that's the issue with Pisces sometimes, and we are seeing a lot of Pisces retrograde themes, and this is really at time though this is where you'll see, am I channeling my Virgo and my Pisces, my mutable ultimately energy in a way that is empowering me, or am I having challenge with this? That's how you'll be able to tell. If this time right now feels irritating, frustrating, that might be pointing to the mutable signs in your birth chart and your propensities in relation to those signs, specifically Pisces and Virgo. Gemini also, but we're looking primarily at Virgo and Pisces, especially because both rulers of Pisces are retrograde. So yeah, it's coming down to, okay, like, first of all, what am I doing? And is it serving me as well? Are the actions that I'm taking coming back to me? And that's not to say it in a selfish way, like, oh, I'm selfish if I'm like thinking about myself. That's an illusion, you guys. Okay, like and maybe there's a programming in this space. Maybe we've at a certain point been programmed to think, oh, it's better to, you know, like bend over backwards and make other people feel like they're, you know, but then that exists, yes, but within the concept of who we are as well. So it's all about balance. Let's clear it. Yeah. But you know, it's a wonderful time to, again, get really, really sort of honest and, yeah, if need be, awkward and assertive and all of that good stuff, okay, with spaces that don't respect you as well when it comes down to that, when you're making decisions that are right for you. If somebody has a problem with you being empowered in your own life, let that be their problem, let that be their luggage. They got to pay for it when they're checking into TSA as well. They got to explain why that's in their luggage. It's not up to you. So this is, again, where we also talk about those concepts really, really that came through in the Warning the Light Workers video, where it's like, it comes down to you and you, okay? Do not take on the karma of others necessarily. People are going to be frazzled right now. They're going to be feeling possibly triggered. They're going to feel bad, guilty about the decisions that they've made to this point. And it's not like, oh, bad for them, but it's just the cycles at play. And that's part of their lesson, part of their karma. That's their family pattern. Okay, you know, they have to look through their Akashic records. Sometimes we do group work, but sometimes we have to say, hey, I'm going to work on my own now. Like, I got to work on my project, my PowerPoint slides, and I got to make sure they're perfect. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean isolate yourself when it comes to your ethic, but it does ask us to ask, at least, if anything, what it is that we do and what the motivation is. So for those of you who are also like, let's say at times you feel like you identify with the concept of people pleasers, like, I want to do what's right, like I want to make everyone happy, like that's where we're going to be questioning okay, really heavily, like, okay, is that what I'm doing here? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I feel like a wake up call moment as well. Okay, definitely, especially as Mars gets stronger in Virgo, Venus gets stronger in Virgo, it's like, whoa, it's like, you know, don't be embarrassed if you're like, damn, like, you know, like, what am I doing? Like, is this like something that I am wanting? Or it's clear. And this could be also summoning forth concepts related to also energy, vampirism, definitely. Okay, like, let's get honest here. With Neptune retro, we're talking about past life energies. We're talking about, yeah, let's clear it, soul contracts. And it's interesting because the 12th house, which is the ruler of Pisces, is the ruling house of hidden enemies. So without being like fearful of, it's really a matter of what we also allow in, right? So that's where it comes down to boundaries again. Wherever I let certain entities, frequencies, energy spaces come into my force field. So yes, I think it comes down to leadership ultimately. And we talked again about this, but I thought I would just set a reminder. Are these astrology videos helpful? The ones we do on the general channel, where we just jump on like all of a sudden and talk astrology. If it is, feel free to comment in the chat how it is that you guys feel connected to these content messages, and hit the like as well if you're finding it helpful. Let me pull up the ephemeris and see anything else that jumps out to me. Let's clear the energy and ground. I hope you're all doing well. Aside from that, as we move into the closure of the full moon in Aquarius, moving into the second quarter stage in Taurus. Right as we speak, we have quite a bit in Earth energy, actually. So but interestingly, I kind of see this as a time with Mars and Virgo, at least, where we're gonna be like checkmating how we assert ourselves, but also how we address our passions. And sometimes it is in that space of saying, you know, wow, well, I feel like I'm kind of hesitating on what is real to me. Sometimes that helps us identify what really is what is real. And maybe, you know, during this period, you happen to come in touch with passions that you felt underneath the surface, but you couldn't put your finger on. I'm also seeing that, which is exciting, which is wonderful. Yay. Sometimes it's like, okay, whoa. Like, let's say you're trying to understand something, rationalize something, to even decide on something, and then all of a sudden you get to the point where it's like chrysalis moment, chrysalis effect. You're like, okay, I don't need to understand this. Like, you just kind of, you know, you just realize something interesting. So, you know, ultimately everything is helpful when it comes to us understanding better what our yearning of the higher self is, leading us in the direction of at every step and stage. And that's always changing as well, I feel, right? Of course, we're here to ascend, and as I feel it, and this is what astrology points to for me, we're here to sort of transform the way that we see ourselves and what we want to create. So being open to that process, I think, is what astrology helps us sort of lead more into. Let's see though here, in terms of the moon cycle, well, we're riding up on the second quarter stage in Taurus, 8 degrees of Taurus, 33 subdegrees. If you have any personal planets, nodes, angles, points, asteroids at that particular degree of Taurus, this is going to be a pretty intense time here. as we move out of the full moon in Aquarius energies and into the second quarter stage, where we pivot then out and we get ready for the new moon, which is approaching in Leo. That will be coming up on the 8th of August, and we talk more extensively about these transits in monthly members and the monthly members videos and the weekly members videos, so in the 48, but we take a more day-to-day approach. By the way, today we did a reading spread for 48-hour members, and it was actually really interesting. Sort of extrapolated more in a more micro way what may be coming up for the next 2 days. So if that's something of interest, members link should be on next to subscribe. Okay, now, but going back to it, let's clear it around. Yeah, and by the way, thank you guys for your support with the channel, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions. Just sort of throw that out there. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, they know, but I'm like, I want to say it. Anyways, but I'm so touched by you guys here and your support always. Uranus is retro in August, officially. It's in pre-shadow here in the meantime until technically the 19th. So, you know, Uranus in pre-shadow, Neptune is retro, Jupiter is retro, Pluto is retro. You know, it's kind of like retro stormy season. We can kind of see it like that. Let's see anything else coming up here. Yeah, this is really the only kind of turbulent pocket until the midder part of August. Making up words. more mid part of August. Hello, SM. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, what a cute emoji. Hiya. Cute little fox. Do secret favors for others card. Cute. 21 minutes and 12 seconds. 21 minutes actually and 21 seconds there on the clock. Interesting. And the time is 1:21 a.m. right there. Well, okay. But yeah, it's really this pocket where we see Mars in the zenith of Virgo. Just, you know, if you're feeling triggered, just sit back, you guys. Try to just take it easy here. I feel like I'm a pilot getting I feel like a pilot getting on yeah, it's 1:21 Eastern Standard Time. I feel like I'm a pilot getting on the PA system. But it's what it feels like. Like, it's what it feels like. At least, you know? Because again, that's how I kind of see astrology, is like these storms that are approaching. It's like, yeah, let's just keep it in mind that these transits are taking place also alongside one another. So, with Mars in Virgo, let's clear the energy around. Yeah, Mars will be in zenith for tomorrow as well, technically today, July 31st, 1:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we move into the first degree on the 1st of August. You know, for those of you who have a lot of air in your chart, a lot of Mercury, a lot of Gemini, a lot of Virgo, a lot of third house energies, a lot of sixth house energies, or Mercury at a 29th degree even, we'll say, or even advanced or whatever, on an angle, even at midhaven, or even Jupiter in any of those signs, or Jupiter even on an angle with those sign placements, I would really circle these dates here. And I usually talk about this in members, but I felt really, every so often and again, I feel guided to jump on the general public and talk about these. So it's just coming forth. I'm going to, you know, if those of you find that it's redundant, take it as you will, but this is coming through and I feel guided to share this. Circle these dates here. Okay, between the 2nd of August, even maybe beginning on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Yeah, you know, just try not to get too Sun sign Gemini, Virgo Gemini, Stelliums, definitely, you know, have something that you know you can count on to ground you when you get a little too in your head. Okay, when you're getting a little you know, frazzled at times when it comes to, you know, making decisions. If you are making a decision at this time and you are somebody who has a lot of those planetary alignments and you know you're going to be making a decision and you have this sensation that it's going to be kind of nerve-wracking, just know that we've got the moon in Gemini simultaneous to the Mars in the first degree stages of Virgo, and Yeah, it's gonna be like, and Venus is in Virgo as well. You know, these next few days, once we pass out with this moon in Taurus, it's gonna get really Mercury here. Very, yeah. And I'm hearing digestion. Like, you might want to take sort of time to just calm the nervous system as well. But this is a general video, and it's not for, it's for entertainment purposes only. So it is a video for entertainment purposes only. So take it as you will. It's not a biology reading, but this is what's coming up to me. Okay. Yes, these next few days are going to get a lot of air energy here, you guys, coming, especially with Jupiter in the 29th of Aquarius. Yeah, like, whatever you need to do to just chill out and not let the little things get to you, because that can be the tendency when we are looking at Mercury energy, is every little thing, it matters, the little hairs. It's like, but if that irritates you, then, and you know that, and you have the tendency, you want to have like something you can count on to zoom out and be able to see things in a macro sense and from a macro perspective, right? Because that might actually impede you, like, into saying in the way, like, it's not actually to my benefit to get so perfectionist about this. So maybe it's a wonderful time to tap into the element of earth, okay, and fire as well, to be able to rebound from that frequency if it does get out of control, for those of you who have a lot of Gemini and a lot of Virgo. So clear and ground. Virgo is earth, yeah, but it's a mutable earth. So that's it rides on the axis, I think, of air and earth. It's ruled by Mercury, which rules air sign Gemini. So it's kind of like, it's on the axis there. It's like a hybrid earth sign. It's clear to ground. Anything else? Your friends might be pissing you off. This is just coming up. Yeah. I mean, if you need to just step back from certain groups of people, like certain communities, even if it is online, it's like, I need time. Like, I can't listen to TED Talk anymore, I'm just hearing that. I'm seeing TED as a person, but it can be like, a series, it can be something online, like, yeah, if you need to detox from certain outlets here of content, just know that maybe something might get exhausting here with the Mars and Virgo, and either reading a lot, researching a lot, like with the Gemini moon. Let's clear it. I'm seeing something, yeah, especially with Mars, which can be a quarrelsome planet, in Virgo. Yeah. Just, I guess, keep a heads up if you are going to be around people or making important decisions. Yeah, that's more or less what I'm seeing for the next few days. Then we get really strong into the Mercury. They will get kooky. Those of you who have a lot of Virgo, how many of you have a lot of Virgo? Let me look in the chat. If you have a lot of Virgo, I would be really almost make like maybe a schedule. Who's this? Hi, Nira. Thank you for your donation. Oh, another little fox emoji. Aw. Thank you for tuning in, for your support. Those of you who have a lot of Virgo, and you have like things get a lot out of control, like in relation to that archetype, I would really be very wary when Mercury, of all fucking planets, enters Virgo itself, simultaneous to Venus and Virgo, Mars and Virgo, Venus getting into the later stages of Virgo at the same time as that shift. A date, the 12th. Just circle that. The 12th, the 11th even, yeah. You'll start feeling this build up. Just take a chillax moment if you have to, like maybe you're, I mean, I don't know, it's like you're in a seminar or something, it's like getting too intense for you, maybe you're even negotiating something here. Let's clear it. I'm hearing ruffling feathers, you know, it might be something here. Just like have something that gets you. Mars and Virgo can be very sensitive as well. It's like, oh man, maybe it's something you're commissioning. Maybe you're commissioning a project for someone. It's like, damn, I feel like I didn't do a good enough job. Like, don't let yourself get into that mindset. This is not worth it. Okay? This is not realistic. The stellium in Virgo around this time can feel very convincing. Okay? Don't get like so bent out of shape. How many of you have a Mars in Virgo? How many of you know that you've got yeah. Like, how many of you are familiar with Virgo, actually? I'm seeing this more as someone, let's say, is a rising or has number of personal planets in Virgo, even a stellium especially in Virgo, or even in Gemini. I'm seeing Mercury conjunct Mars in Virgo or Gemini. Oh my god. Yeah. If you're not an auditor, I don't know what. Or like a researcher, a publicist, like with that placement, but yeah, there's so many factors at play, but that's just like a Mars in Gemini. Same here, actually. Yeah, I have to look up on my transits. Yeah. You know, it can be nice, but it can get frustrating, okay? Yeah. I mean, you may also just be triggering people. You may not even know it. It's like, you know, not necessarily that you're getting triggered, but then it could be a reflective moment where it's like, why is this energy vibe, like, it's weird, and it's like, oh, am I triggering that? You know, something like that. Whereas in Virgo, you know, maybe you are doing a really good job, and, like, people are looking in on that, like, you know, you'll know how it is working for you. But I think the point you don't really want to be at is when the manifestation of this energy is like, oh, I don't have boundaries, and I am making my success, like, with others mean everything, and feel like it's the be all end all, and like what other people feel about my work is like a reflection of my work. I think that's where that's gonna be uncomfortable. But even if that is the case, I have a cactus thorn in my finger. Even if that's the case, it's okay. It's a good thing, because it brings you to examine that part of your being more closely, right? So, you guys, I don't even know where the cactus thorn is, though. It's so fine, but I feel it. This is so funny, because this is literally that manifestation of Virgo. Like, we're going like hair, a hair in or out of place. Like, this is the most fine little villi of a cactus needle, but I feel it. And honestly, it got to the point today where it's like, I had this happen earlier, and the whole day I've been like, where is he? Where's the little thorn at? So I can like pull him out. But at a certain point, I was like, I was at home for like 2 hours trying to find this thing. I had to leave the house, like, with the thing in my hand. I'm like, I'm not going to let this, like, sabotage my day, you know, and, like, my activity, and, like, starting my day. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, if there's a little thorn still in your project here or there, like, don't sabotage the whole project for that. I'm hearing that. Let's clear it. It could be a metaphor, you know, but it's an example coming through here. Yeah. Also be aware of, you know, if you're on the verge of burnout. This is for some of you. Maybe working a lot here. But you know those moments where you're working so hard, okay? You're like, but I want to make this perfect, like, one more thing. And it's like, at first you have like a really good rhythm going, and then you just put like way too much into it, and then you end up being like, oh, forget it. You know what? I don't want to do this. Like, you know, maybe beware of that as well. Just a heads up. And it's not like for you to be like afraid of these cycles, not at all, not in the least bit. But just know that if this is something coming up, know that it could be these transits that are provoking and prodding that part of your birth chart. Yeah, the tweezers. So funny, because in the Sag reading, I'm a Sag moon. I have so much Sag in my chart. My moon is actually in the first house. Yeah, more or less conjunct Pluto, but on the farther end. Yeah. But in the Sag reading, it was like literally someone tweezing someone out of a situation. And it's funny, I mean, the thorn can be symbolic, right? I'll have to watch that reading again. But yeah, I can't find him, but he's definitely there somewhere. All right. Well, you guys, this was helpful for me. It's always helpful to look at astrology. We're all experiencing these transits, right? So keep moving the energy around, keep flowing, you know, don't let the retros make you feel stagnating here. Okay, just, if anything, reflect, but don't let it also define you, because also a lot of these energies are coming up from months ago, years ago, past lives, so you can only imagine. It's like, I gotta keep grounded in this dimension. You are guiding and directing what comes up from the past, so remember that as well. Let's clear it. Yeah, sometimes it's very convincing, like, oh my god, like the telenovela from like 2014, like, you know, and you start looking at old pics and videos and you get all wound up, you know, okay, like reflect on it. It's coming forward because it's part of the subconscious, but you channel and you decide what role that plays in your present day. So it's ultimately meant to help you. Thank you, Go Teresa, for your donation, for tuning in. Aww. Is that a snap? Aw, so cute. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. We're gonna extend that pick a card on members. The hold up. Are we even compatible? Pick a card reading. And oh, another thing coming up here, I'm just hearing this, is if you're feeling like extra self-conscious at this time as well with all these planets in Virgo, you know, yeah, I'm hearing that song by Michael Jackson, You Were Not Alone. What's that song? I'm here with you. Is that how it goes? Da 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 na na. Da na na na. Yep, you are not alone. Another day has gone. I'm still all alone. How could this be? I'm stuck in quarantine. But it's not like the pandemic one. It's the one I put myself in. Maybe with a certain situation. Look, this work. Yeah, so, oh, who's this who joined, by the way? Kelly, welcome to members. Yay. Kelly, to access the members' videos, on the main channel, you may already know this, but on the main channel page, if you scroll down, you'll see a members content playlist, and you'll be able to access all the videos there. Just a side note, I know some people have been like, where are the members videos? Yes, so, all right. YouTube gets confusing. How could this be? I'm like surprised, you know, as big of an institution will say, there are things that, yeah, step by step. And again, that's this theme, you guys. It's like Virgo is a perfectionist energy. It can be. It's like, it's reminding us though, let's take it step by step. If we don't finish the whole thing today, there's always tomorrow and the next day, you know, kind of vibe. But this is obviously a general video. Take it as you will. If you've got a flight coming up in a few hours, it's like, I'll actually take it tomorrow. Okay. We're not talking necessarily in that way, but you know, and it can move in so many directions. But it says, again, how could this be? You're not here with me. You never said goodbye. Someone tell me why. Aw, I'm feeling like maybe some people might be feeling silly. It's like, why am I still in this situation? For how many of you is this something you're grappling with? Because this is coming through like last minute here. You never said goodbye. Someone tell me why. I'm seeing someone frantic, like running through streets. Maybe this is like a subconscious energy. I'm even seeing in the dream state. How many of you are having crazy dreams, by the way? You are not alone. Some of you, I'm hearing you're talking to ghosts. It's just coming through. Okay, Kelly. Dreams have been weird, yeah. Well, Neptune retro, what do we expect? Joe, but the void of course, the video we did, void of course in Pisces. Oh my gosh, I look back and I'm like, wow, how do we even like finish that video? Because it was literally Moon in Pisces, conjunct Neptune retro in Pisces, Jupiter at like, it was like, I think it just under 29 of Aquarius, all conjuncting, like. Yeah, so, but that was a very interesting reading. So, a few readings. I think we extended it on, that was one with the cowboy that came through in that members for Gemini. But anyways, let's continue. Did you have to go and leave my world so cold? Let's clear it around. Some of you, yeah, okay, well, listen, every day I sit and ask myself, how did love slip away? Something whispers in my ear and says that you're not alone. Yeah, let's clear it. So, and also, Virgo does rule the logical mind. It's a very cerebral energy. And with the Pisces energy coming up for review, this can feel like a very strange time. I feel like when it comes to this concept, more of that on the way definitely is Neptune gets more retro, Jupiter gets more retro, and etc. And Virgo gets stronger. That's where we'll be like, I think I'm going crazy. Wait a second. This past life energy coming up doesn't make sense in relation to what I'm trying to hypothesize here. Who just joined? Corian, welcome to Members Weekly, eh? We'll see you there. We'll see you in the weeklies. I wonder, do you guys have access to the videos that have already been recorded? Hopefully. But yet again, you can access all the members' content on the associated with the program that you sign up with on the members page playlist. Is there another way that you guys know of, by the way, that happens to work? You are not alone. Let's clear it. Some of you are feeling maybe a little derailed in relation to some of your plans and projects. This can be you with your project. It's it's what happened? Why did the train stop all of a sudden kind of vibe? I'm seeing fours everywhere here. Temperance. Yeah, this is really about, I'm seeing someone who's, they're trying to keep something going. They're trying to keep the momentum. For a number of this is with your project. Some of you are waiting for something, waiting on something. Maybe it comes down to expectations as well. Try not to have expectations, especially with retrogrades. It's there's just so much. Let's clear it. And people going through a lot here at this time. Queen of Cups upright. Yeah, some of you, maybe you want to talk to friends who put you in a space that doesn't energize your fears, especially logical ones. Or on the other side of the spectrum, also paranoia. Okay, it's clear. Yeah, when you get a little ungrounded as well at times, you want to keep it balanced. Maybe for some of you, maybe you want to talk to a medium with the Queen of Cups upright as well, or someone who is a comforting, nurturing space for you with the Queen of Cups. Somebody you feel you can trust, that can, re-guide you and redirect you with the Queen of Cups and the Temperance card. And the Justice card might not be bad to even, maybe, this is just a general video, but sign up for a session with someone. I'm hearing that with the Justice card and the Queen of Cups. Some of you might know a medium or somebody who, it's a good friend of yours, somebody you talk to. Maybe there's something here. Yeah, you maybe want to get, a bit of advice here. Knight of Wands. We're in the Temperance card. Candace, hello. Welcome to monthly subscriptions. Welcome. So good to see you here. Yeah, Three of Pentacles. Oh, some of you feeling something just even actually ended. Straight up ended. I'm seeing that with the Three of Pentacles popping on my lap. You're in the Temperance card upright. How do we keep the audience entertained? Shit. It's this is a feeling of some projector screen going out on stage and someone's feeling anxious. And who's the audience, right, in that space? It can be metaphorical, it can be you with yourself, but it's interesting, so many people that I'm talking to, they're wow, it sucks, this whole, pause with the pandemic. It's well, everything is kind of, also a test, and it's kind of necessary. Think about all the things that we had to take a pause with and reflect on and make decisions on in different ways as well, or however it's or in ways that reconnect us to us. So maybe it's well, I thought we were gonna do that, what, and it's but it may not be a negative thing, right? With the Moon and Temperance, for some of you, this is something you actually have to have a lot of faith with, or really it's about programming, and you gotta be really strong here with the Moon upright. In Temperance, let's clear it. Yeah, it's well, I can't see it like that. I gotta some of you program fears. You gotta move through the Ace of Cups. We're in the Moon. Wow. this is a huge opportunity for transcendence. I'm seeing that with the Ace of Cups and the Moon. It's like, wait, why am I reacting like that? Why am I getting triggered? Like, does it really matter if Marty, like, gives me, like, an F or an A, like, at the end of the day? It's like, I am not my grade. I'm hearing that. I am me. I'm me. Interesting. So, hello, and who's this? QBUBUU. Interesting little rhyme there. Well, I see it as a rhyme. I don't know what it is for you, of course, but take it as you will. $1 there. Thank you for your donation, for tuning in. Yeah, some of you possibly, it's like, how do we say this? And everybody here for tuning in and for your support in the many ways that you show it. Ace of Cups and the Five of Wands. Like, some of you maybe also, like, really pointing out, like, people in your friend circle who, you know, you start to realize, like, they're judgmental. It's like, I'm hearing this. Like, I don't feel empowered when I'm around that person. And that's that. That's that kind of energy, like, that's that. It's also, like, the Ace of Cups and the Moon saying, do I resonate? Like, if I don't, like, where's the highway at? Like, I will walk. I'm hearing that as well. Some of you making decisions to finally part with certain people here. You gotta start clearing your aura. I'm hearing that for some of you with the Moon and the Ace of Cups. Like, this is such a shame for the Five of Swords to come through. Mirroring temperance, and between the Moon and the, it's like, this is something that you know. It's like sticking out like a sore thumb. Oh, God. The Seven of Swords on top of that, coming through in reverse. The Page of Wands bright. 10 of Pentacles reversed, King of Swords in reverse, Page of Cups right. Some of you, I feel that you know that something is off, possibly, when it even comes to you and your environment. Like, it's something that you wanted to even phase out. It's maybe an approach, something that just, at the end of the day, it's something that makes you feel chaotic, okay? That's how you know. Queen of Wands, it maybe actually even is like a mess, like around you. Yeah, 10 of Swords, but it's okay. Sometimes it has to get to that point where it's so annoying and, yeah, irritating, frustrating, like, I don't know where anything is at. It's like you start to clean everything up. Hermit right there. Who's this? Thank you for your donation. Wind chimes orbs. Aries first, Aries moon, Cancer ascending.